So here we are for another edition of Blah Blah with STAAH, and I'm fortunate enough to have Ronnie Ronalde, the Group Operations Manager for CPG Hotels. And we're hosted here in the wonderful Hotel Grand Windsor in the centre of Auckland, one of 17 and fast-growing properties across the country, and just launched a new Fable brand as well, which is really exciting, Ronnie.
Very exciting. Been a lot of 2 years of 2 years plus of planning and getting it set up, and pulled on a good few resources to help us get there. And I think the outcome of what Fable is all about is actually coming real true, and we're really quite proud of what our little team's organised and set up.
It's great. Well done. I mean, it's really good to get some positive stories in the hospitality industry over this year, because it has been a tough year. Very tough. So busy times. So what sort of motivates you in the morning, Ronnie?
Well, I think you know, I'm getting on a bit, and I started working in hotels when I was sort of about 14 in my father's hotel back in the Channel Islands, and he made me work for the summer holidays and earn my pocket money. Never gave me any money, and out of that I went round each department, and by the time I was sort of 17, 18, I'd worked everywhere, and in every department, went off to college, and it's been in my blood, and I love it. You know, it's the people you meet every day, but it's an industry that's really on the move. It's every 10 years you're completely different, and it keeps you active, and your mind is always thinking about what you're going to change and what else do you need to do, what else do you need to bring in, you know, because the client's needs are always changing, and I find it absolutely entertaining. You know, I love it, absolutely love it, love the industry.
Well, you've had a number of roles, you know, across your, you know, during your journey and your career, and you must have faced some challenges, I guess, along the way. Is there one that you'd care to share with us, and how you overcame it?
There's been a few. One was a bit of a mistake of mine, but I booked 2 weddings on the same day in the same room. But that was pretty tough, getting out of that one. But I ended up doing both weddings, and both were happy, and both brides never saw each other. So we worked out hard that day. But it's the best day's revenue we ever had. You know, 2 big weddings. But no, I think that one of the biggest challenges I've had is dealing with in hotels, micromanagement, and you know, we're a creative bunch of people, but you know, it's that same old thing. If you focus on someone's weakness, you're not going to get the good out of them, and really we've got to always try and get the best out of everybody. And I think dealing with micromanagers is very, very hard, and that out of it, I had that in one place, and I really try to sort of stand in between my team and that person, and in that way to keep them motivated and take a bit of rap myself. But out of it, that to me was the biggest, because in the long term, micromanagement, always the business fails or falls over, or business levels drop, and then there are changes, and it's really trying to keep the place ticking.
Well, you employ people to do a role, don't you? So you've got to let them get on and do it. So
very much, very much.
So talking about sort of motivating staff and your team, what are the top 3 things that you would sort of tell your team on a regular basis?
Well, apart from you can do what you can only do, but really it's about being a team, and we're all in this together, no matter what our titles are. We're all playing a role in making this work, and you work as a team, you'll get there. And don't be afraid to think outside of the box. You know, it's really important to be looking forward and what new and what innovative things you can bring. You know, as I was saying, this industry is changing all the time, and if you sit back, you will get left behind, and they're the main things. You know, think outside of the box, be happy, and work as a good team.
Excellent. And I guess staying on that staff theme, obviously there's been quite a few people leave the industry with this pandemic. Do you think we're going to end up in a real kind of shortage? I mean, we had a bit of a shortage before, right? How's the staffing situation? I know you're currently looking for roles.
A lot of roles. I could open a bakery with that many roles, I tell you. It's no, it's been tough for a number of years, and yes, we've relied heavily on people coming in from overseas to fill a lot of jobs in the hotels, but I think the bad publicity at the moment about tourism, yes, we're struggling with COVID, that even now people are sort of thinking, is it the right move for me? So how many kids are we sort of enticing to come in at the moment? And I don't think the industry is doing enough to actually talk to the youngsters that there is a career in tourism, there's a good career. You know, you put the hard work in, you will really do well, and you can have a nice life in tourism. So I think with the pandemic, you know, the government today have just said about the visas, but they actually don't tell you that there's still a heck of a lot of restrictions to those visas that they're approving. It's not to everyone. Mm-hmm. So we're losing a lot of people. I think we're nearly 40% of all of my employees have got a visa, and it's critical. And with the New Zealanders not favouring tourism, they still treat it as a sort of a second-rate industry. It's going to be next year very, very hard to get the core people. And we're out there we're looking for youngsters that we can train, that are showing initiative, you know, and we'll help you. We want you.
So changing the subject a little, Ronnie, from staff and what have you, technology, how are CPG hotels adapting to new technologies?
I think it's a good question, actually. There's a lot going on at the moment with all different ideas of how to do things, and the changes. Technology is moving all the time, but you know, what we're trying to look at CPG, the sustainability side, and how you can marry that up with the technology, and you know, key cards, which are now wood, to you know, the app, so you can make your own booking online, which is coming very shortly, to you can check yourself in and out on your phone. You can go to the room with your phone. It's a lot of these little tricks are coming through. Also, the new fables where rooms don't have a telephone, they have a tablet, and the compendium is on there, and you can book your dinner downstairs in the restaurant and order your room service all on your tablet in your room. So we're doing a lot of that side, paperless check-in and check-out, that simple things to sort of, you say it's technology is allowing you to do that, and where we're moving forward on it, it's how we can incorporate the technology to bring communication with the guest a lot easier. So letting the guest know that, okay, happy hour's about to start, come on down, and you know, even for the guests to talk to us about saying, hey, the light's not working in my room, can someone fix it? So there's all of these little functions which are all creeping into the Fable brand as we're launching these hotels.
Okay, so you're using it as sort of that communication hub. That's kind of the main new piece that you're putting into the brand. Yeah,
that, and also, you know, the revenue side, you know, with bookings and what you're tracking and how you're tracking, and utilising that sort of live data to actually help you make decisions on what you're doing, you know, with your rates, and you know, whether the market's busy or it's quiet. So it's you're trying to embrace it all. There's a lot out there, but the art is picking the right ones for you know, on that side. Great.
So on to sort of a little bit more lighter kind of hearted questions to find out a little bit more about you, Ronnie. So 5 sort of rapid fire questions for you.
They're all clean, are they?
I've tried to keep them that way, yeah. I thought we'd better. So big dogs or small dogs?
I like both. My daughter has a little one, so I'll have to say little.
And favourite celebrity crush?
Well, I say Crush. Supertramp was my favourite band when I was growing up. And I still remember that. In fact, my daughter said to me last night, she said, Dad, when you die, I'll play Supertramp at your funeral. Well, I said, thank you, darling. You know?
Cool. And what's your favourite NZ holiday spot?
Oh, there's a few. I mean, if it's the winter, I love it at Queenstown, you know, but I certainly enjoy the beaches up north. You know, that's where you can relax, you know, for me. And I'm a very simple chap, actually. Beach, batch, and cook a barbie in the evening. Definitely up north.
Yeah, there's plenty of good spots, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
And I guess we're sort of coming up to Christmas. So what's your favourite sort of Christmas food that you sort of comes around that once a year?
Christmas Day at my home is a bit of eye fillet and some real big prawns.
Yeah.
And that's us. That's our Christmas sort of meal whenever the family appears.
So what time does that get served, Ronnie?
Well, I think that's about 5 or 6 o'clock.
Book me a seat. And finally, do you have a junk food that you crave for sometimes?
Oh yes, KFC.
KFC.
Yeah. And in fact, I went to KFC the other night, the first time in a couple of months. I thought, I've got to have it. And I went there and I saw this big queue at the drive-in. I thought, oh God, I'll go in and get it. So I went in and got it, and I could smell this burning smoke, you know. And I'm thinking, someone's burnt the chicken. And I waited for about half an hour, and then all these people were complaining that it's burnt, give me my money back. And I thought, do I walk out? No, I'm going to have it. And I did. I took it. It was burnt.
It's not often you hear about that, is it?
It's no. But you could smell it coming down the road. The smoke, they certainly burnt it. And then they tried to cook the next batch of chicken in the burnt fat. And of course, it just had a nice flavour. But no, that was cool.
Cool. Well, that's thanks very much for your time, Ronnie.
Yeah.
And thanks for joining us for another edition of Blah Blah with STAAH.
Yeah, no, pleasure. Thank you guys, and thank you for your support through the year.